So, I'm about to go to London and you'll be coming with me. But first, today's episode is an Apple episode. Apple got sued by the Department of Justice in the USA. A potential alternative app might be coming in Europe for alternative app for the App Store. And there might be some new beats being released really soon. So, but let's go to London first. But the Department of Justice is suing Apple because of their potential illegal monopoly over the smartphone market. And the Department of Justice is claiming that Apple has maintained an illegal monopoly over the smartphone market by locking its customers and making experience worse for rival products. It's here on The Verge. This news came out a couple of weeks ago, but it's something that's been talked about a lot because they're making the experiences worse or locking the experiences for other consumers and kind of taking over and charging too much money on certain things, which we'll get to that. But let's go to London. I'll see you in 2 seconds. We're finally in London. It took a long time to get here. But yeah, basically suing them because of having an illegal monopoly over every other smartphone manufacturer. And they're suing them based on 5 things, which has been disrupting super apps like WeChat, which basically is like an app where you can do basically anything and everything. The device doesn't matter as much. As long as you have a WeChat account, you can do basically anything. They're very popular in Asia. Blocking cloud streaming apps for video games as well. Suppressing the quality of messaging between Apple and any other smartphone, basically any other Android devices, which is the usual battle that we've heard for the last couple of years. That's kind of intensified over the last couple of years of Blue Bubble against Green Bubble, iMessage against RCS, I think it's called. Limiting the functionality of third-party watches and smartwatches apps as well. Kind of comes into you really can use an Android watch with your iPhone, but you can obviously use any Android watch with any other Android phone. Doesn't matter the brand, as long as it's Android. And then blocking third-party developers from creating and competing digital wallets. I'm guessing banks and other apps that want to create their wallets and use your iPhone to pay other than through Apple Pay, basically. So that's definitely going to be a suit that we'll be hearing a lot about over the next few months, few years probably. It's going to last forever, but yes. But then in other news as well. And we're also going to probably see very soon an alternative app other than the App Store on Apple devices. And this is again all down to the same conversation that we were having just now of the monopoly that Apple has. You can only download apps within the App Store. And then if you want to download any other apps that are not within the App Store, you're going to have to break your phone, jailbreak it. I'm sure you've known that, to try and download the other apps. But again, it might not work very well. But this new app called Alt Store, ALT Store, that's probably going to hit us here in the EU and the UK, or like I'm guessing, I don't really know what to say anymore when it comes to UK, EU, but basically it's going to hit the EU first as the alternating app store for iPhone devices. And then through there you'll be able to download different games, different apps, and just many different things that can be used within the iPhone. And obviously kind of takes away that monopoly away from the App Store, basically another app library to download and pay for. This doesn't come without any repercussions. It doesn't come really easy for Alt Store because Apple charges, obviously they have an intrinsic amount of legality around creating a new app for developers, which again all comes down to the same monopoly that we're just talking about. So yeah, Apple is charging 50 cents of a euro for every annual app install over 1 million. So basically any downloads over 1 million they have to pay 50 cents. I'm still not sure if that's every year or if that's just for every download, and then you just pay the 50 cents once. But imagine if you make, let's make the math, that's $500,000 for basically every million downloads they get. And if it's a good app and if it's popular, then they will be paying Apple a hell of a lot of money. But obviously I'm sure that's not going to be the case. I'm sure they will try their way around it, and they'll try to squeeze, try not to pay Apple as much money. Again, it all comes down to the monopoly that Apple is currently having over the kind of like just the whole ecosystem they have of you can only download apps through the App Store. If you want to have your app in the App Store, you have to pay a lot of money to Apple for you to be able to have your app in their App Store. So this is something that, like, the whole Apple against the US, Apple against the EU, I'm guessing Apple against the world when it comes to governments, is something that we'll be seeing a lot of over the next few weeks, over a few months, and over the next few years, because we'll definitely won't hear the end of this for a couple of years for sure. Time to do some work before going into the next news. I just got back from shopping and just having a wander around. London is crazy. But on to finish all this news of Apple against the world and Apple announcing products. Apple has announced the Beats Solo4. They kind of half announced, half leaked, but they will be coming in May 2nd. Apparently they have a re-engineered sound. They will be having USB-C, so they won't be having lightning, and they will also have 50 hours of battery of running time. That's pretty impressive. And the price is meant to be at $199. I'm guessing that's going to be about 189 pounds, maybe somewhere along those lines, as it says here on 9to5Mac. I will put all the links to all the articles for all this news down in the section below, so you can go and read them yourself. But as it says on this article, they will be announced on May 2nd as a release date. And another thing that the Beats will have is they will have a one-touch pairing system with Android devices, because obviously ever since Apple bought Beats, with Beats headphones and iPhone or Apple devices, you can connect them just as quick as you would do a pair of AirPods, AirPods Max, AirPods Pro, whatever AirPods you have. They connect just as quickly as if you do with the Beats. So now you will be able to do that on the Android. It will also support Find My device if you have a Apple device, which will be really useful to find them if you ever lose them. And then yeah, so apparently they will have a re-engineered sound. They will be much more comfortable, much better battery life at a fairly reasonable price compared to some of the others, Sony and Bose. But again, Sony ones, they are the kings. I've not had one in a while. The last one that I had was the XM3s, and they were just an absolute beast. I didn't own them for very long, but the time that I had with them were magical. But that is all from me today. Come back next week for your tech news. See ya. Bye. Also, these hotel rooms are getting smaller and smaller as well, especially in big cities. Peace.